Welcome to the Valmika Property Investing Podcast. I'm JP, your host and the founder of Valmika Buyers Agency. With my background in investment banking, I'm here to share Wall Street tips and secrets for building a top 4% property portfolio. Let's dive into the world of property investment together. Welcome to another episode. In this episode, we're going to discuss an alternative tool to add to your portfolio. We recommend this as an addition, but not the core of your portfolio, and it's all about REITs. Now, what are REITs? These are real estate investment trusts. So today we are going to discuss a few sections under this topic. Firstly, we're going to understand exactly what REITs are and what are the different types of REITs that you can get. Then we'll move into the advantages of REITs. Then, of course, we're going to compare REITs versus direct property investment. What are the differences? What are the benefits? What are the disadvantages? Then we'll discuss how to invest in REITs. And then lastly, I will end with describing the REIT investments in the Australian market. So let's get straight to it. Okay, so what exactly are REITs? So as mentioned, REITs stand for Real Estate Investment Trusts. They are a powerful tool for property investors, and there are different categories of REITs that you can invest in, but these are the three main types. First, you get equity REITs, and these are REITs that directly own and operate properties such as apartments, offices, or shopping centers. An example of this in Australia would be Scentre Group. It's a prominent equity REIT with a substantial retail property portfolio. Then the second type of REITs that you get are mortgage REITs. So instead of owning properties, these REITs invest in mortgage-backed securities, and they generate income from interest payments on these mortgages. So it'd be nice getting part of that market that you wouldn't be traditionally exposed to without investing in REITs. Then, of course, is the hybrid REITs. And this, as the name suggests, is a combination of both features from the equity REITs and the mortgage REITs. So what are the advantages of these investment vehicles? Firstly, and the most obvious one, is diversification. So investing in REITs allows you to spread your risk across multiple properties and locations. So these REITs, how they work is they pull in a diversified property investment portfolio. But how do they do this? So they pool money from multiple investors, and then these REIT managers acquire, develop, or own properties. And that structure provides several advantages to beneficial owners. Another advantage is liquidity. Now, because REITs are publicly traded, they offer great liquidity compared to direct property investments. So once you invest in a REIT, you can buy it easily and you can sell it easily. So you can liquidate that investment easily and realize your cash from that investment. Then, of course, as the name suggests, they are professionally managed. So REITs are managed by experienced professionals who handle property management and financial decisions. So when you invest in a REIT, you don't handle that side of things. This is done by a property investment manager. The next advantage would be the income that they generate. So REITs typically distribute a significant portion of their taxable income back to shareholders in the form of dividends. And then, of course, as mentioned before, there are tax benefits to this. And in some cases, investors may enjoy tax advantages when investing in REITs. That's not the scope of this podcast. So to find out more about this, I would encourage you to reach out to your accountant or your financial advisor. Okay, so let's compare REITs versus direct property investment. So while REITs offer these several benefits, it's essential to weigh them against a direct property investment. Now, when you invest directly in property, it provides you with greater control, but also requires significant capital, time, and expertise. So, investing directly in property, you are the property manager there. So, you are the person deciding on which investment or which property to acquire. You are responsible for managing that property. Of course, you can pass it on to property manager yourself. And obviously, this takes time to invest in that property and expertise. However, this does give you a significant advantage because you you take advantage of gearing. Now, there is inherent gearing in REITs. However, the amount of exposure that you limit to is the amount of cash you have available to buy these REITs. Whereas within direct property, you put in, say, a 10%, 20%, 30% deposit, and then the bank gives you the rest of the money. So that gearing, that inherent gearing, allows you to grow off a significantly higher base when compared to investing in REITs. And of course, REITs offer a more hands-off approach with lower entry barriers as a result, because you need less capital, and there's potential for high liquidity in terms of being able to get in and out of it. You don't have to go to auctions and going on a selling campaign to liquidate your REIT shareholding that you've acquired, whereas with property you do. However, I encourage you to have the core, a direct investment portfolio, or this is what we do in our own investments, because of that benefit of using gearing, or in other words, debt, to grow off a significantly higher base. REITs are great if you've got extra capital that you're trying to save up on and you don't have enough money for a deposit. You can go and purchase REITs so that your investment beats, in theory, inflation. But obviously, it's very important to make sure that you choose the right REITs as well. So that moves us into our next section. And how do you invest in REITs? So you can invest in REITs by purchasing shares on the stock market or through managed funds. But when selecting REITs, it's important to consider various factors such as dividend yield, property types that the REITs have invested in, the geographic focus of those REITs, and of course the REIT's financial performance. And to gather a gauge on this, you need to conduct thorough research, and that's crucial before making an investment decision, because there are some REITs out there, and I'll get into this in the next section, that you might want to avoid. Okay, so let's talk about those REITs in the Australian market. So the Australian market offers a range of investment opportunities, and it's important to exercise caution, as some of those REITs have significant exposure to office assets. Now, you may ask, why is that a problem? Because offices obviously have had huge vacancy issues because of the COVID situation we were in not too long ago. So then maybe it's opportunity to buy REITs that have exposure to those offices. That is true in theory. However, there are some asset owners of offices that haven't revalued those offices to reflect the vacancy rates that they have recently and currently are experiencing. So in theory, those valuations are probably too high as to where they are in reality. However, if you find those REITs that have revalued those assets to reflect the lower income that they're generating off those offices because of the vacancies, then those would probably, depending on your view on where offices are going, might be an opportunity to invest in. So be very wary of REITs that have that type of exposure, and also the geographical region as well. So if they invested in areas that the economies are struggling, for example, then you've got to make sure that the valuation of the assets reflect that, and whether you would be happy to take exposure into those regions. So it's all got to do with cycles, economy, and future prospects for those geographic regions that those REITs are invested in. So there's a bit of homework to do there. If you would like more detail and for me to go dive deeper into this topic, please let me know. Please either send me an email at info@valmikaproperty.com or leave me a message in the comments below, and I'll gladly give you an episode that addresses that. Okay, thank you very much for your company, and I look forward to speaking with you in the next one. Thanks for tuning in to today's episode of the Valmika Property Investing Podcast. If you're interested in our services, please visit us at valmikaproperty.com. Remember, the content shared in this podcast is for entertainment purposes only. For personalized financial advice, always consult your trusted financial advisor or professional. See you in the next episode.